This video is about how to take notes using Cornell note-taking. Okay, so what are your first impressions about notes? Think about if a teacher's asked you to take notes in the past, how do you feel about that? Maybe students have said, taking notes doesn't help me. Or teachers talk too fast, so I don't know what to write and I don't know what is important. I don't know what is not important. And I like when they give us the notes just to fill in, and I can just fill in a word or two. So these are some of the things that I've gathered from students over the years. These are some notes. They're kind of crazy. So I guess part of me thinks if your notes look like this, then yeah, you might feel like that. So then why bother taking notes, right? If your notes are going to be hard to read and hard to understand, then, what's the point? There's a lot of benefits to writing notes by hand. So it helps you focus. It helps you understand the information. So as you are reading or as you're watching a video, you are processing that information. You're putting it into your own words. You can help you remember because you remember the physical movement of your handwriting and also your brain thinking of it just helps you remember what you're learning. It engages your mind. It helps inspire creativity. You can draw pictures in your notes. You can highlight certain things. You can be kind of creative with your notes. Helps you with organizing information. It can increase your attention span. It can improve prioritizing skills, so learning what is important, what is not important. And these are skills that you kind of develop over time. So there are a lot of benefits. So let's think, what is the best way to take notes? This is one method that I've learned that I think is pretty straightforward and it's really organized. It's called the Cornell note-taking method. And so basically what you do is you have your piece of paper and you have this far left side, you draw a line down almost a little left to the middle, and this is called your Q column. The big section is your note-taking area, and at the bottom is where you're going to write your summary. So you divide it into 3 columns. We're going to talk about where your title, you have to have a title in these, you have to have your date. This is where you take notes. This is where you have your main topics, main ideas, or questions, and then the bottom is for your summary. Okay, so here's an example, and I'll come back to it. This person is talking about the stomach. They have these 3 questions, and then this is all the information that answers those questions. This person even color coordinated. The blue answers these questions, the green answers this question, and the pink answers this, and then here's the summary. So this would be an example if a teacher gave you the notes to fill in, which I could do sometimes, or you're just going to handwrite your own. So here's how this would look. Your cues would go over here. So what are cues? They're questions. So if I give you questions, or if they're like the main idea. So if you're reading something like the dark heading, that might be your cue for on this side of the notes. Remember, our title, our subject of our notes is up here. We always include the date. And then these are just like your main ideas. And I wrote here that cues will usually be given for guiding questions or the main objectives, or they'll kind of stand out to you. Then this is where you're going to write your details. Okay, so you're not going to use sentences. You are going to abbreviate things. That means make the word shorter than the original word if possible. You can use bullet points, dashes, numbers. Maybe you want to write the definitions. That could be an answer. You can draw pictures. You can have descriptions of things. So if this was the main idea, then you might have a few words over here that are your supporting details. Down here, I'm going to move up a little bit. So down here it says, this may be the most important part of the notes page. In this section, you will use complete sentences to write the main idea of the lesson. It should be 2 to 4 sentences long that can sum up the entire lesson. This should be thoughtful because it is helping you understand the content in a way that you can remember it later. So your summaries are very important. You do this after you finish the notes, after you finish reading, after you finish watching the video. You've got all your notes done. You can do your summary. All right, so here's back to this example. This person has their summary. Again, I already said that this teacher gave them the handout and then the person filled it in. That might happen, or you just have to do it on your own. So just some final picture here. Make sure you have your date in the top right corner. The title is in the top. Your keywords, questions. This is where you're really taking the notes is the middle, and your summary goes at the bottom. If your notes are too long, like if you're going over a page, still leave the bottom section for your summary, stop, and then flip it over and set it up the same exact way on the back. So you can do a summary on the front page and the back page. The more summarizing you do, the better, because it's helping you to process what you're learning in your own words. And so that is the Cornell note-taking method.